Hi, this is Maria. Today we're making a Christmas card without traditional Christmas paper. So this is my sample we'll be working from. I used Fresh as a Daisy paper in the background and I pulled colors in this paper to use in my card. So this is Lost Lagoon and this in the background is Garden Green because that's what was in this card. This designer series paper. So today we're going to duplicate this card using different paper and I'll show you how it's done. Before we get started, please remember like, share, and subscribe. Click the notification bell. And if you go to mariascraftroom.com, you will see written instructions, links to other projects, and a shopping list, of course, so you can order these things from me. If you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, by all means, I would love to help you out with that. And Maria's Craft Room has a direct link, so you can find me at Stampin' Up! And shop with me. Direct links also in the video description below. Okay, so this was Fresh as a Daisy designer series paper. Today we're going to be using Earthen Elegance. So this has similar colors. This is Lost Lagoon. This is gray granite. I don't have gray granite, but I didn't really want to use gray anyway. I want to do something very similar to this. So we're going to be using Pretty Peacock, which is this in the foreground. And for the lighter color, the trees in the background, in this card we used Garden Green. In this card we're going to use Lost Lagoon because this is a very light version of this, so I think it will go well and it's kind of mimics what you see down here. So these are the two colors we're going to be using today. And let's go ahead and get started. All right, I'm going to put this over here so I can see it, but not really. It's not in my way. I'm going to actually cut some paper here because, oh, just dropped a scrap. Because I want you to see how easy it is to make these. So let's get the cutting instructions up for you. There you go. So that's your basic cutting instructions. You can take a picture of that or go to the blog for the rest of the measurements, for the complete measurements, right? And the pictures and all of that stuff. All right, let's take that off the screen. I have already cut my basic card base, 8.5 by 11, cut in half, scored in half to make my 4 1/4 by 5.5 standard card base. It's going to open this way. We're going to cut our first layer. This is Earthen Elegance, such pretty paper. You could use this side if you want. I mean, the whole purpose of this video is to show you that you can use anything as a background as long as you like the colors and use the colors in your paper on your card with your ink, okay? So the first layer is going to be 4 1/4 by 5.5. I want it to cover the whole card. If you have colored paper, cardstock that is Pretty Peacock, by all means use that. We're going to use what we have. So I need 4 1/4 by 5.5. So here we can decide, do I want this graduated effect? I could use all of the gray. I think we're going to use the Pretty Peacock as it is. So 4 1/4 by 5.5. Let's do 5.5 here. And that will be our long side, or do we want it the other way? I don't think it matters. In this particular case, it doesn't matter. So that's 5.5 and 4 1/4 the other way. And we have this to work with. It's going to cover the whole card base. Beautiful. We need a basic white, 4 by 5 1/4. Oh, it's already 5 1/4. There we go. And that is going to give us that little bit of an outline. And then we have some scrap to get our cutouts, to get these. These I'm going to just fussy cut because I did not buy the dies. I didn't buy the dies to go with this, but that's okay. We don't need to. Let's go ahead and get our Memento Black to stamp these images out. We're going to be using Regal Reindeer for our Christmas stamp. We are using a stamp that's Christmas, so I'm going to use this tree and this reindeer and this little man right here. I guess that could be a little girl, you can't tell. This child. I think this Merry Christmas is a little too small, so I'm going to pull Merry Christmas out of this set. Brightest Glow. That's this Merry Christmas here. It's just a little bigger and I thought it went well. And we'll use this sentiment here on the inside, just like I did on my sample. Very nice. And we're going to use Scenic Wonders for this little background scene here. Now if you don't have all of these stamp sets, just use what you have. Leave this out if you don't have it. Don't worry about it. I happen to have them, so that's what I'm going to use. Alright, so this one first. Let's get our reindeer and our little child here, and we'll get them stamped and colored. Let's see, is this going to fit on here? Nope, we need a bigger scrap. Let's see, will it fit on here? Yes, it will. Okay. So Memento Tuxedo Black. Ink up your stamp and stamp him out. Give him a good press. Beautiful. And then our little person here, we'll do the same way. Beautiful. And then we'll just fussy cut him out, which means I'm just going to use scissors to cut him out. So cut both of these little images out. Save that scrap for later. You can color first or you can cut first. It doesn't really matter. I tend to cut first and color later. But for this purpose, just to see the difference, because I usually do the other way. We're going to color first and then we will fussy cut them out. I'm going to just clean my stamps really quick. This is a stamp chamois with just water. And I'm just going to clean my stamps so I don't let them sit there. And so I can take them off my blocks too, because I'm going to be reusing the blocks here. Okay. Alright. Little housekeeping is done. Now let's go ahead and get some coloring in here. I'm going to pull colors from the DSP that I'm using, Designer Series paper. This is Pretty Peacock. So let's see what colored pencils I have. I don't have any markers to play with, so we're going to use from the color pack here. Colored pencils. Let's see. This is Coastal Cabana, which is close. It's not exactly Pretty Peacock, but that's very close, so we're going to use that. We're going to use Cherry Cobbler. For the ornaments, we're going to use Real Red for the coat. So we're using a little bit of Christmas color. That's Garden Green. I use that here, but I don't think we're gonna use this one instead for the scarf. And we need brown. That's, let's see, Early Espresso for the reindeer itself, and basic black in case we need it. So let's start with that. Let's see, do we have a lighter? I think that should be fine. All right. If we need more colors, we will grab them out. Okay, let's put that away. And I'm going to need a blender pen. Okay. So let's go ahead and start with the Early Espresso, and I'm going to color in the body of the reindeer. Let's come a little closer. Okay. So with colored pencils, you just want to lay down some color, and then you're going to blend it with that blender pen. Can we see what I'm doing here? Okay. I tend to be very light-handed when I color, so I'm trying to press a little harder than I like to do. You do get a much prettier effect when you color darker. This one I did very light, and you can barely see the brown. I mean, it's there, but I am purposefully pressing a little harder here. I'm following the contours, the black that was laid down by the tuxedo black, and then I'm shading in the rest. This does not have to be perfect. It's going to be blended here in just a minute. I'm going to go into the antlers as well. This is basic white. I'm not using watercolor paper today. Okay, I think that's good. Now, this is my blender pen, and I'm just going to make sure there's no color on it. These are reusable. And we're just going to start blending this color in. Go into all those little crevices. I find colored pencil, this is watercolor pencil, very easy to use, very relaxing, very forgiving, and a lighter touch. When you use markers, you get a very harsh color, and colored pencil is just, I don't know, in my opinion, just doesn't give you such a harsh color. So I'm basically coloring over that colored pencil with the blender pen. And see the difference here where I put more color down by pressing harder on the pencil, and you get such a different effect. So just hand pressure will give you different looks when you're using these colored pencils. Watercolor pencils. So this is a nice thing to do just to maybe relax at the end of the day and sit and color. So leave me some comments below this video. Do you prefer to use markers? Should I invest and buy the Stampin' blends? I don't know. I'm kind of happy with the watercolor pencils. Okay, very nice. Now in this one, this blanket, I colored brown. Do we want to do that? I think we should make this blanket I think we should do it in this Coastal Cabana. Now I'm using the older set of pencils. There is a new set because we had new colors come in with this newest catalog. If you have the actual correct color, by all means use the correct colors. Again, I'm just making sure the tip doesn't have an existing color. And this is I mean, it's not the right color, but it's gonna match close enough. Oops. And you can always add a little more color if you feel you need it here and there. Beautiful. Let's see, do we need Coastal Cabana? I think we should do Coastal Cabana over here on the scarf for the child. The little gloves and the stocking. I love these colors. Not really Christmassy, but we are making them Christmassy. Okay, now let's get some real red, and we're going to do the coat just like that, and the harness and accessories on the reindeer as well. Again, I'm pressing harder than I did over here just to make sure we get really good coverage. But that's just a personal preference. I'm gonna go, I have another pen, let's see. We'll just use another pen. I tend to have a really light hand with coloring, so I'm making myself press harder. But I must admit, it does look better. Excuse me. Okay, so let's go ahead and, let's do the little red apple there. I'm going to use cherry cobbler for the fruit here. Let's see. My tip, I've already used it for red, but we're still going to clean it off because it's a different shade of red, so we're still going to clean it off. Not as necessary as if I had used blue or something. All right, on this one we used, let's see, that was cherry cobbler for the fruit. We used cherry cobbler here and here. I think we should, let's see, should we use cherry cobbler in the harness? Let's do cherry cobbler in the harness. Not the bells, just the harness around it. I'm pretty sure in this one I used real red. It's just I didn't press very hard. We're gonna make this nice and dark. Okay, and find my red tip. Oh yeah, much prettier. I happen to like deep reds, so that's so pretty. And it stands out really well. Very nice. I think we'll do all of these pieces in red as well. I did it in red over here. In black. I did it in black over here. It's very hard to notice when you don't press hard. See, I'm pressing a lot harder on this image just to get more color down, and it is making quite a difference. I'll hold it up to the camera here in a minute. Let's see. Can we see the difference just by pressing a little harder? Look at the browns. Yep. This is a light hand, this is a heavier hand. Okay, so that is it for my colored pencils. Let me put my toys away here. I like to clean up as I go. Makes life easier in the end. Okay, so now we can cut these out. I'm just gonna fussy cut. So give yourself a little bit of an edge, a little bit of a border around what you're cutting. Move the paper, not the scissors. And that will work out a lot better for you. And I'm not making like perfect cuts here. It's just kind of like a bubble around the image. Now I'm here. That little hoof doesn't have black nails. Oh, the other ones did. We're going to color his nails in. Let's see. Here's my black. Basic black. Let's color his nails in so they match. Very nice. All right. Can't have a mismatched pedicure. Okay. Am I in focus? There we are. All right, and we're going to just continue to cut this out. I may speed up the cutting process. Let me know in the comments. Would you rather I speed things up or I show you the whole video and then you have the option to fast forward? Let me know. Really doesn't take very long. We're going to cut this whole reindeer out together and then I will fast forward through the rest of the fussy cutting. But do let me know in the comments which I should do going forward. Okay, there's our little reindeer cut out. Very nice. Okay, so we have our two little pieces cut out. All right, now we can start the stamping on this piece. Let's go out a little bit because my focus is acting up a little bit. Okay, so here we're going to, now remember the color on our background piece. Whatever color of DSP you're using, use the colors in your background to determine what trees you're using. So some sort of green or teal will work best for this kind of card. I'm going to start with my lighter shade, which is Lost Lagoon. And then we'll progress into Pretty Peacock. Let's see. I'll put that right there. Okay. Now I'm going to use a silicone mat behind here, just in case I go off the paper, so that I don't make a mess on the paper. We're going to use Scenic Wonders, this stamp right here, for these trees way, way, way in the background. Let's see, it's this one. Let's grab a nice big block, and we're going to stamp right into that lighter color, and we're going to go right across the bottom of this card here. Beautiful. Let's clean this off because we won't be using this stamp again. But I might need the block. Let's put him back in his little home there. All right, now we need the Christmas tree. Let's see, I need a nice big block for that. Again, we're going to start with the background trees, so I'm going to ink this up, and we're going to go off the edge of this paper a little bit. Give it a nice press. We'll go on the other side as well. Secondary stamping. Very nice. And then I'm going to clean the stamp. And we'll go in with the Pretty Peacock, which is quite a bit darker. Let's see. We'll go right here in the foreground. Very nice. And we'll go on the other side as well. Very cute, very good. I'm happy with that. So we have lighter trees in the background, darker trees in the foreground, and then we can add our Merry Christmas across the top. Okay. Love the stamp shade. Yep, missed a little spot. Okay, I'm going to take this off and I'll just put him aside for a minute. Merry Christmas out of this Brightest Glow, and we'll go ahead and stamp the inside of the card as well. So this is my inside statement, and Merry Christmas, let's see, where is it? This big one here. Okay. And we're going to do both of those in, I think we'll do it in Cherry Cobbler. Do we want the darker red or the lighter red? See, here I use the same reds, here I use different reds. I think I like this better, where they match. The reds should match, I think, but it's already done. So I think we'll use the darker red. Let's see what it looks like. This is the beauty of crafting. Every card is different. Nice, good coverage. This is Cherry Cobbler. We're going to go right here in the middle of this. Beautiful. Okay, so now here's a difference. This is Cherry Cobbler, and that was Real Red. So maybe Real Red is a little more Christmassy. Okay, so you do as you would prefer. While I've got the red out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the inside of the card with my sentiment. And we're just going to center this. Beautiful. I'll put that aside for a minute. And we'll close up. Oh. Just so it's out of the way. Let's go ahead and clean up while we go. Takes a minute, and that way you don't get your hands all in the inks. Alright, so now we can put this together. Let's go ahead and attach our reindeer and our little man here, little person, onto the card. We're going to put them on with dimensionals. And I'm just going to use the backing, the side pieces from a used sheet here. Don't use your good scissors on sticky or glue. Pick some not so nice scissors for this part. And we're just gonna put some of these adhesive larger pieces here on the back. You could use mini dimensionals or standard dimensionals. I just like to use what I have, and I have so many of these edges that I'm going to use them. Nice big piece there. Maybe one more little piece over here. Okay, and we'll do the same thing with the little man here, little person. Okay. Just get the backings off. Yeah, don't stick to yourself here. All right, and now we can place these down, arrange it on your card. There we go. Now, my Christmas is behind the reindeer, so maybe put these down just without the sticky back so you can see this Merry Christmas could have gone a little further higher, a little further up a little bit, so that it's not covered by the reindeer. But that's okay, it's going to work either way. And now we can start layering our card together. This is going to go up just with liquid glue. Right onto our designer series paper. Beautiful. And then this will go onto your card again with liquid glue. And then we can add some bling and call this card done. Beautiful. I love that. Let's grab some iridescent rhinestones, which is the same that I used here. Use a big one and a little one, and another little one over here. And that is it. Beautiful card, non-Christmas paper. So definitely just put your cutouts, lay them on the card before you stick them down, and then you get a proper placement of your sentiment across the top here. I think it's beautiful either way. So this is Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock, beautiful colors, non-traditional Christmas paper. I like to use white cardstock just so I can see it. If you use colored cardstock, you can eliminate this DSP altogether, but you'll have to inlay a piece of white in the inside just so you can write. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and click that notification bell so that you are notified when I post a new video. And if you go to mariascraftroom.com or just click the video description below, there will be a direct link to how to make this card so that you can make your own. There'll be written instructions, pictures, and links to the other projects that I've made. Thanks for watching.